said to myself, you know what, this is the best
لما
night promotional
روحي
video, which I already have
بتضمك
prepared.
Cecil Rhodes.
بتواجهك
Cecil John Rhodes,
يا
PC.
زهر قلبها
5th
لابويا
July 1853 to 26 March 1902 was a British mining magnate and politician in southern Africa who served as a prime minister of the Cape Colony from 1890 to 1896. An ardent believer in British imperialism, Rhodes and his British South Africa Company founded the Southern African Territory of Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, and Zambia. I've been there, right? Which the company named after him in 1895. South Africa's Rhodes University is also named after him. Rhodes set up the provisions of the Rhodes Scholarship, which is funded by his estate. He also put much effort towards his vision of a Cape to Cairo railway through British territory. The son of Vicar. What is a vicar? Vicar is the representative, deputy, or a substitute, anyone acting in the person of or agent for superior.
والكوكب غار بسمتك عم بتضويها
Rhodes was born at Netwell House, Bishop's Stortford, Hertfordshire. He was a sick child. He was sent to South Africa by his family when he was 17 years old in the hope that the climate might improve his health. He entered the diamond trade at Kimberley in 1871 when he was 18, and over the next 2 decades gained a nearly complete domination of the world diamond market. His diamond company, drinking beer, right? Formed in 1888, retained its prominence into the 21st century. Rhodes entered the Cape Parliament at the age of 27 in 1881, and in 1890 he became a prime minister. After overseeing the formation of Rhodesia during the early 1890s, he was forced to resign in 1896 after the disastrous Jameson raid, an unauthorized attack on Paul Kruger's South African Republic, or Transvaal. Rhodes' career never recovered. His heart was weak, and after years of poor health, he died in 1902. Rhodes believed that the Anglo-Saxon race was, to quote a letter of 1877, the first race in the world, under the reasoning that the more of the world we inhabit, the better it is for the human race. He advocated vigorous settler colonialism and ultimately a reformation of the British Empire so that each component would be self-governing and represented in a single parliament in London. He has been the target of much recent criticism, with some recent historians labeling him as a ruthless imperialist and white supremacist, and some activists demanding that his memorials be removed. Rhodes once stated that if the whites maintain their position as the supreme race, the day may come when we shall all be thankful that we have the natives in their proper place. However, Daniel Hanman, writing for the Daily Telegraph, described him as a man who simply upheld the value of his age. Similarly, Will Hutton, for a Guardian, without acknowledging his racism, adds that Rhodes cannot be regarded as a lone wolf, as an especially abhorrent racist. Yes, the New Criterion writes, "We've always regarded the PC attack on Rhodes as slightly posterious." Okay. Origins. Rhodes was born in 1853 in Bishop's Stortford, Hertfordshire, England. the fifth son of the Reverend Francis William Rhodes, 1802 to 1878, and his wife Louisa Peacock. Francis was a Church of England clergyman who served as a perpetual curate of Brentwood, Essex, 1834 to 1843, and then as a vicar of nearby Bishop's Stopford, 1842 to 1876, where he was well known for never having preached a sermon longer than 10 minutes. What a bad pope, what a bad priest. Francis was the eldest son of the William Rhodes, 1774 to 1843, a brick manufacturer from Hackney, Middlesex. The earliest traceable direct ancestor of the Cecil Rhodes is James Rhodes of 1660 of Snape Green, Whitmore, Staffordshire. Cecil's siblings included Frank Rhodes, a British Army officer. Childhood, England and Jersey. Rhodes attended the Bishop's Stopford Grammar School from the age of 9, but as a sickly, asthmatic adolescent, he was taken out of the grammar school in 1869 and, according to Basil Williams, continued his studies under his father's eye. At age 7, he was recorded in the 1861 census as boarding with his aunt, Sophia Peacock, at a boarding house in Jersey, where the climate was perceived to provide a respite for those with conditions such as asthma. His health was weak, and there were fears that he might be consumptive, have tuberculosis, a disease of which several of the family showed symptoms. Wow. His father decided to send him abroad for what were believed the good effects of the sea voyage and the better climate in South Africa. South Africa. When he arrived in Africa, Rhodes lived on the money lent by his aunt Sophia. After a brief stay with the Surveyor General of Natal, Dr. P.C. Sutherland in Pietermaritzburg, Rhodes took an interest in agriculture. He joined his brother Herbert on his cotton farm in the Umkombazi Valley in Natal. The land was unsuitable for cotton and the venture failed. In October 1871, 18-year-old Rhodes and his 26-year-old brother Herbert left the colony for the diamond fields of Kimberley in northern Cape Province, financed by N.M. Rothschild and Sons. Yes, Jewish people, right? Rhodes succeeded over the next 17 years in buying up all the smaller diamond mining operations in the Kimberley area. But Rhodes himself was not a Jew, right? So it's interesting, he was supported by the Jew, and nowadays De Beers is occupied by Jew, but the founder of the De Beers was Cecil Rhodes. His monopoly of the world diamond supply was sealed in the 1890s through a strategic partnership with a London-based diamond syndicate. They agreed to control world supply to maintain high prices. Rhodes supervised the working of his brother's claim and speculated on his behalf. Among his associates in the early days were John X. Merriman and Charles Root, who later became his partner in the De Beers Mining Company and the Niger Oil Company as well. During the 1880s, Cape vineyards had been devastated by the phylloxera epidemic. The diseased vineyards were dug up and replanted, and farmers were looking for alternatives to wine. In 1892, Rhodes financed the pioneer fruit-growing company at Nuidecut, a venture created by Harry Pixton, an Englishman who had experience with fruit growing in California. The shipping magnate Percy Molteno had just undertaken the first successful refrigerated export to Europe. In 1896, after consulting with Molteno, Rhodes began to pay more attention to export fruit farming and bought farms in Groot Darkenstein, Wellington, and Stellenbosch. A year later, he bought a loan RHONIAE and Bosch Handel and commissioned Sir Herbert Baker to build him a cottage there. The successful operation soon expanded into the Rhodes fruit farms and formed a cornerstone of the modern-day Cape fruit industry.